I'm Herb McCormick, editor-at-large at Cruising World, here at the Annapolis Boat Show. It's Friday afternoon. They're starting to crank up the tunes up on the deck over there, so we've got a little noise, but hopefully you can hear me. I'm here with Mark Schrader, who is the skipper of 64-foot Ocean Watch on our recent voyage around the Americas. We went from Seattle up through the Northwest Passage, down around Cape Horn, back to Seattle. We're here to talk a little bit about the trip. I'm also just written a story for Cruising World, December issue, about trash in the ocean particularly, and the big garbage vortex in the North Pacific, and that was officially discovered in 1997, Mark, but you actually reckon you came through that vortex a good time earlier than
I was surprised when we read it was discovered in 1997, because mate Logan, who was with us on the voyage, and I sailed through that spot in 1986 coming back from Hawaii, and we actually played around for a whole day going, wow, we didn't need to buy anything in Hawaii. We could find a lawn chair and a football and a frisbee, and there were just miles of stuff that surprised us, little ecosystems, and it was a big problem in 1986, so I'm sure it's only gotten worse.
Well, it's not getting any better, that's for sure. It's a lot of stuff out in the ocean. I mean, Mark, talk a little bit about some of the stuff that we saw along the way, and the problem areas particularly. Well, the coast of Peru, we saw a lot of stuff.
The coast of Peru, and there's a big problem in the coast of Peru because a lot of ships dump their garbage overboard before coming into the harbor, and so it washes up on the beaches. Peru could be beautiful, but it is just garbage from one end to the other on the beaches. And in some cases, it's what you can't see. In the Chilean fjords, there are pollution plumes caused by any number of things, from untreated sewage to commercial traffic to fish farms. And we saw a lot of those kinds of problems. And sometimes it's discouraging to focus on the problems. It's kind of fun to talk about if there are solutions to those problems and who's doing it.
Well, what should people do? I mean, what can sailors do on their own boats to kind of alleviate this problem?
There's 6 billion of us, not sailors, but people. If we all do a little bit, the world gets a lot better. Education is the key. We need to tell people about what happens to plastic. Some people think when they talk about the plastic gyre that it's out there in the North Pacific. In fact, go to the supermarket, that's where the plastic gyre really is, and a lot of that stuff ends up in the ocean. So watch your plastic. Talk to people who aren't as aware as perhaps sailors are about how fragile this ecosystem really is. So it's communication, it's education, and it's good practices. Obviously, we don't want to throw anything that's not biodegradable in the water, and we don't want sewage in the water. And that's the easy problem to solve. We ought to be able to do that very quickly, and then we start working on the harder stuff.
I mean, one thing I thought, Mark, on our trip was that, we've left a heck of a problem for kids and the next generation, but the kids seem to get it, don't they?
The kids get it. I can remember time after time we'd invite kids on board the boat, we'd talk about the plastic pollution, and there was always in that group one kid who would say, why would anybody dump this in the ocean? It's a showstopper. Why would anybody dump this in the ocean and it's still happening? We simply have to stop that practice, and we have to educate those places in the world that don't understand that the ocean can't absorb all of this stuff that we ask it to. It's done a marvelous job of cleaning itself and healing itself, and it's at the tipping point. Some scientists think it's beyond, so we have to be really careful. It's a fragile system.
500 million plastic water bottles every year are manufactured and used just in this country alone.
The other thing, I think remember we were looking off the coast of Costa Rica and Mexico, coming up as we were bashing our way north. There were balloons, there were helium balloons everywhere that had lost some of their helium, and they're sitting on the water. Turtles eat those things, birds eat those things, they get tangled up in. That's something that just needs to stop.
If we all do our own little bit, we can make a difference, everybody. Thanks for reading Cruising World magazine. Mark Schrader, Herb McCormick from Annapolis Boat Show.
Thanks, Herbie. Good to see you.